Denver 7 News. It's a weather action day. The snow is heading out, but get ready for what could be the coldest temps of the season.
Modern science is rediscovering ancient medicine. Why researchers think mushrooms may be the answer to treating COVID infections and boosting immune response after vaccination. And more cities are considering bringing rivers currently covered in pipes back to the surface. How this could be part of a solution to lessen the impacts of climate change.
And you may notice your heating bill costs a little more than last year. Why many power companies are raising their rates. It's a weather action day, and what do we do when it's cold and snowy in Colorado? Well, we grab our sleds and hit the hills. Plenty of people were out at Central Park in Denver, making the most of their snow day today. Oh, that looks like so much fun. And now to a traffic alert. I-225 is seeing some major delays in Aurora, but it looks like things are moving okay on one side right now. A semi-truck rolled over in the northbound lanes near 6th Avenue. Right now, just 2 lanes are blocked, so some traffic is able to get through, but it looks like it's bumper to bumper on that side. CDOT says you should expect delays for the next few hours while crews clear the road. And we have team coverage tonight. Denver 7's Ivan Rodriguez and Megan Lopez are standing by. But first, let's get right over to meteorologist Stacey Donaldson for the latest on this storm and those icy cold temperatures. Stacey.
So cold. We have some Arctic air moving in tonight. You wouldn't know it by the fact that it's freezing cold out there right now. Our temperature 9 degrees. It feels like it's 7 below at this point. The sun is trying to peek through some of these clouds as the snow is lessening. But today we've had 13.2 inches at Commerce City, 12 inches in Boulder, 8.5 for Lakewood, and about 7 in Lone Tree. So significant snowfall here across the Front Range in the last 24 hours. We're still under a winter weather advisory until 8 o'clock tonight, and wind chill advisories have been issued for the eastern plains and down into southern Colorado for wind chills tonight around 20 below. So in the meantime, we'll still have some light snow here across the area, kind of off and on for the next few hours. Still some snow across the eastern plains, out toward Burlington and Ray, and also to the south, down toward Pueblo and out just west of Lamar and north of Trinidad. Winter weather advisory in effect until 8 o'clock tonight as this storm kind of peters out this evening, but the lows by tomorrow morning well below 0 for most of the state. 7 below our expected low here in Denver. We'll talk more about how long this Arctic air will last coming up.
Thank you, Stacey. And even though the snow is beginning to slow down a bit, you still might want to think about staying off the roads. Denver 7's Ivan Rodriguez joins us live. Ivan, the snow is really piling up out there.
It's really piling up, and it's getting a lot colder too. I'm standing in Governor's Park. You can see a lot of snow, several inches of it. And behind me, even though it's cold, the snowy day, people all the way back there on the hill behind me sledding, one guy here snowboarding as well. Earlier today, we also drove along areas of 6th Avenue and 970 to get a look at the conditions on those roads. Most of them were slick, but we're pretty much clear for the most part. CDOT tells me it has about 100 crews out across the metro plowing roads, making sure people are able to get home during the evening commute. We also heard from some truckers this morning from Phoenix who told us they were debating on whether or not to make the trip through Denver.
We were like, wait, let's don't do this run. Let's don't do this run because that storm's going to hit. And then we're like, okay, there's only supposed to be like 1 to 3 inches. It shouldn't be that bad, right?
It's supposed to be clear.
Oh, no. So let's go. What do you know? We hit right in the middle of it.
And we've been here for several hours. Like I said, it's been consistently snowing. Still people coming out and enjoying with their pets. As gentlemen through Vail and clean up.
A little tough to hear you, Ivan, but thank you for that report. Lots of snow out there on the roads. Well, normally when the temperatures take a dip like they did today, a lot of us tend to crank up the heat. But buyer beware, because your utility bill is likely going up and that extra heat will only make things worse. Denver 7's Megan Lopez joins us live now to explain what's behind the potential rate hikes. Megan.
Jessica, I am certainly guilty of that too, right? Like when it's cold outside, when it's snowy outside, when the temperatures are dipping, I just want to be inside. I don't want to be out here talking to you guys. I want to be inside warm, cranking up my heater and staying toasty warm. But soon a lot of us could be paying for that President's Day snowstorm that happened last year, and that's not the only potential rate increase that you could see on your bill. So Xcel Energy last week filed a rate increase with the Public Utilities Commission that's asking to raise the natural gas rates by $188.6 million over the next 3 years. It also requested a $182 million rate increase for electric. Now, on top of that, as I was alluding to, the PUC is still considering the energy company's $500 million rate increase for the snowstorm and the freezing temperatures from last February. Consumer advocacy groups are speaking out against all of this, though, saying that's a lot to put on the backs of families.
It's a lot at once, and that's known as pancaking of rate increases, like a stack of pancakes. And the Public Utility Commissioners have expressed a great deal of concern about pancaking of rate increases, and we are asking them to do something about it.
So Xcel Energy certainly isn't the only one that's considering doing something like this. A lot of different energy companies are all considering the same thing. Xcel Energy just happens to be the biggest provider in the state. Xcel says that it needs some of these rate increases not only to pay back that money that it borrowed for that President's Day snowstorm, but also for things like transitioning to clean energy and just the normal increases that it's seeing. If some of those rate increases are approved, you can start seeing them on your bills as soon as November. I'm live. Megan Lopez, number 7.
Megan, thank you. Meanwhile, in Denver, city snow plows have already finished their 12-hour shift for the day. They work from 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. with the big plows on main streets and smaller plows on side streets. Those smaller ones will only take a single pass down the center of each street, and they'll only take the top few inches of snowpack off the road, and it will not be exposed bare pavement because they don't carry de-icing material. So the next time the drivers will be out is 3 a.m. for their next shift. We'll be following the snow and the cold all evening long on Denver 7. You can get the forecast anytime by downloading our free Denver 7 Plus app. We have interactive radar, a 10-day forecast, and a 24/7 weather live stream. You can find it right now on your Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, or Android.
We're seeing a huge spike in people losing money to scams on social media. New numbers from the FTC show the agency saw 18 times as many reports of this happening in 2021 compared to 2017. And the data suggests social media was far more profitable to scammers than any other contact method. About $770 million total was lost to this type of fraud. Investment scams on social media top the list of how people are losing the most money.
Making that personal connection is something that's fairly unique to social media and provides an opportunity for people to feel like, okay, this is someone I can trust. They're giving me a tip. They may not even perceive that there's anything in it for that person, right? And that helps to drive them to bogus investment sites where they may perceive that they have nothing to lose, the guaranteed returns.
And once someone gives their money to the scammer, the victim may continue investing, thinking they're making money. But when trying to withdraw that money, they can't. Meanwhile, the FTC is seeing the largest number of social media scam reports from people who fell for online shopping scams. Most of the reports involved someone who ordered a product from social media that never arrived. The FTC says scammers are able to use the tools available to advertisers on social media platforms to target you. Now, one way to avoid this is by opting out of those targeted ads. You can also change your privacy settings to limit who can see your information. Scammers like to use whatever info you share so they can seem more convincing.
Before you buy, check out the company, search, for the company's name with words like complaint or scam and see what you find. Often, if there's a problem, you'll be able to find information that would steer you away from making that purchase.
Also consider how someone is asking you to pay. Scammers like gift cards, wire transfers, and cryptocurrency. The FTC has been working to crack down on social media advertising. The agency has recently gone after companies that make baseless claims around COVID therapies. It also helps with enforcement when people report these claims. Now, you can do this at reportfraud.ftc.gov. Meanwhile, fraud and price gouging related to COVID-19 continues to run rampant. Congressional hearings on this are making sure government agencies like the FTC are doing enough to go after scammers. The FTC says it's been overwhelmed with complaints, again pointing to the challenges with policing social media fraud. Now, the House is considering a new bill to give states and the federal government stronger tools to prevent the price gouging of COVID tests masks, and other equipment. The movement for creating reparations for Black Americans is the strongest it's ever been. How mainstream education is playing a role despite controversy inside schools about teaching the history.
And it's Groundhog Day, and with this winter weather, we're hoping for an early spring. Up next, we'll tell you what Punxsutawney Phil predicted and whether he doomed us all to 6 more weeks of winter.